6:46 on this Saturday evening. Hello, hello, hello. Carson Meredith with you here in the Wave Weather Now studios. Hope you and yours are well. It is a Saturday evening. It is early July, and it feels great out there. It's a nice combination to have, isn't it? We are going to do a quick little look at the rest of the weekend. Really not much to talk about, but we'll still talk about it since everybody has a lot of outdoor plans, I'm sure, as we wrap up the holiday weekend. But the main focus is quickly becoming, well, partially the heat, yes. That's kind of part 1A, if you will. But part 1B is the bigger part, and that is going to be the storm chances next week and what Beryl has to say about those storm chances. Got new data that we're just now looking over this evening, and I'm going to share that data with you and talk about what it could mean for wave country as we head into next week. To the comments we go. Got a few folks tuning in. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever it might be, Sean says. There you go. Good afternoon. Well, evening now. It's all relative this time of year, right? Hope you're well, Sean. Sean is watching in Jeffersonville as always. Ralph's in Nicholasville, Kentucky. Hope's all well over there towards Lexington. Angela's watching in Taylorsville. Marcia says hello. Leanne says, I hope it does not rain on Tuesday. We got a softball game. Okay. I'll say right out of the gate, Tuesday does not look like a washout, Leanne. So take comfort in that. But there could be a few storms around. We'll discuss that here over the next few minutes. Leanne says, still saying Beryl's going to make landfall around Corpus Christi. Yeah, it sure is looking that way. It may not be, Corpus itself, but maybe between Corpus Christi and Houston, kind of in that ballpark. Definitely looks to be that way. Randy's watching from Owenton. Hope all is well, Randy, up there in Owen County. All right, let's get right into it, shall we? That is a live view of New Albany from our SkyTrack camera. Really nice day. Really nice. Just a tick humid a little bit. You kind of notice it a smidge, but, it's not too bad for the first weekend of July. We'll take today whenever we can, a day like today, this time of year. Current temperature is 84. Reason why it feels more comfortable out there, as you guys probably know, is that dew point. 60 is that current dew point at Ollie International. So that means it's a little muggy, but all in all, pretty nice. We only got up to 86 today here in Louisville. At least that was the last climate update, which was around 4:30. So we may have climbed to 87, 88, somewhere in that ballpark, but that's very typical for early July. So a nice day. All in all, not too bad as we wrap things up. You know what? I think the Kentucky Mesonet cameras are down because I should have looked at this graphic before I hopped on here. That is the same image I saw when I was using them this morning. So I might have to take a look at that. But the temperatures are accurate. Low 80s across the board here in the Bluegrass. 82 in Bullitt and Taylor County. 81 in Carroll and Oldham County. Tonight's just fine. Mostly clear, pleasant. 67's our forecast low here in Louisville. Small little thing tomorrow morning. Watch out for some very, very patchy fog. The wind's going to subside later on tonight, so that'll kind of stagnate things just a little bit. Not necessarily making it feel muggy, but when the atmosphere or the wind's not stirring things up, that's how you can get some fog to form. So if you live in a low-lying valley, if you live near a big creek or a river or anything like that, might have some patchy fog near sunrise tomorrow morning. Shouldn't be a huge deal, though. Outside the city, we'll see those lows, by the way, in the low to mid 60s. So nice evening ahead. And all in all, tomorrow looks pretty good, too. Lots of sunshine, no rain in the forecast. Humidity, still tolerable, very similar to today, but it will be warmer when it comes to those actual temperatures. So instead of the mid 80s like we had today, we're going to be in the upper 80s for most, especially across southern Indiana. But I do expect a few spots, including here in Louisville, to get into the low 90s. We'll call it 91 here in town. 90 in Jeffersonville tomorrow, 90 in Bardstown, Lebanon. You get the idea. 88 to 90 is the general range of where we'll see those high temperatures tomorrow. Still a good day to be outside. So lots of sunshine. No soupy feel in the air. No air you can wear. But don't forget that sunscreen. UV index is pretty high. That means you can get a sunburn in about 15 minutes or so tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Comments we go. Rosie's watching in Campbellsburg, Indiana. Hope all is well up there in Campbellsburg, Rosie. Brandon asks, hey, Carson, we have a softball game Tuesday evening. Another softball game. Love it. Rain in the forecast Tuesday. Can we play our game? Don't cancel it just yet. I'll say that. But you'll need to keep an eye on the skies and the Wave Weather app. There will be some scattered storms around. I really can't get into specifics as to when those storms may flare up, okay? But Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, there will be some storms dotting the map. Is it going to be everywhere? No. But some of you could get some thunderstorms on Tuesday evening. So don't cancel the softball game just yet, Brandon. Not yet. All right. More events, as we mentioned. We got the Madison Regatta. That's supposed to say Sunday at the top. You get the idea. Mid to upper 80s in Madison tomorrow. No rain. It always seems like we got to worry about thunderstorms for the regatta weekend. But that, my friends, is not the case this year. Looking pretty good. Lots of sunshine tomorrow to wrap things up in Madison. There'll be a little breeze around, but not a whole lot. Nice day, though. All right, quick reminder before we move on to Beryl Talk. Time is running out, gang. If you have not signed up for our Twisters pre-premiere contest, the deadline is Monday night. Monday night. As soon as our 11 o'clock newscast ends Monday night, it's over. All right, so if you want 2 tickets, have the chance to win 2 tickets to the pre-premiere of Twisters coming up on July 17th, scan that QR code. I'll leave it up on the screen here for a quick second so you guys can scan that QR code if you want to sign up. Don't have to pay for anything. It's totally free to sign up. All we'll ask is for your name and contact info, as well as which theater you would like to get tickets to, be it the Escape Theater in Jeffersonville or the one out on Blake and Baker. So take your pick on which one of those you would like to sign up to win for, and may the luck be with you. We have had thousands of you sign up for our Twisters contest. And of course, we're very appreciative that you guys signed up, but only a few hundred of you will get those tickets. The only way you can have a shot to win is if you sign up, right? You never know. So scan the QR code or go to wave3.com/contest. It'll be right there. As soon as you go to that website, you'll see the ad for the movie, and you'll see our smiling faces on the Wave Storm tracking team when you go to that page as well. Totally free. Running out of time, though. Got about a little over 48 hours before the contest is done as we get towards Monday night. Sean says, we're traveling to Greenville, Michigan tomorrow. Do we get a break from all this humidity? Yeah, you'll definitely get a break. It's really nice up there right now. I think Chicago was in the 70s today. Very, very, very comfortable. So safe travels up to Michigan tomorrow. Brandon says, you're very kind of you. You're the best. I appreciate it. I work with a great team, though, not only in the weather department, but our entire station. Are you going to be at the Kentucky State Fair? Oh, yeah, we'll be there. I don't know the exact date yet, but we'll have a wave day at the fair, I'm sure. And, of course, I'll be there for a couple of hours on that day. Hope to meet you, Brandon. Marcia says, it's so hot working in this weather. Hope it cools down just a little bit. Yeah, like we mentioned, is it comfortable out there? Not necessarily, right? We want it to be less humid. We want it to be cooler, but we'll just have to wait till fall, won't we? She's got a good point there. Marcia does drink a lot of water, a lot of sunscreen on hand as well. Shannon says, thanks for the update on YouTube. Shonda says, I encourage all 4 of my sisters to register. They have to take me if you win the tickets to the Twisters contest. That's awesome, Shonda. Good stuff. All right, let's talk about Beryl, guys. Yeah, it seems like we've been talking about this storm for weeks now. Well, we may have. I've lost track of when this thing started. Here's the deal. This is where it is right now. It is still a tropical storm. I don't think that's going to be the case much longer, though. 60-mile-per-hour winds, gusting to 70. It tried. Let me get my drawing tool here. I'll kind of show you. If you look closely, there's a little purple spot that flares up right there. You see it? So this Beryl was trying to reorganize and intensify again earlier today. Now, it's backed off just a smidge for now, but look, we're just splitting hairs here. This thing's going to become a hurricane again. Um, when exactly? It'll probably be sometime on Sunday. I know that doesn't sound very specific, but it's going to become a hurricane again, probably sometime tomorrow. The earlier it gains that hurricane strength again, the more of a concern we might have when it comes to the wind potential as this thing makes landfall into Texas. So, speaking of Texas, let's go ahead and show you that track from the National Hurricane Center. So they've got it becoming a hurricane again around midday tomorrow. And they only have it as a Category 1, does the National Hurricane Center. But I will caution, and I don't want to sound like I'm ignoring the Hurricane Center's forecast. These guys are phenomenal, what they do. But there has been some models suggesting that this thing could rapidly intensify before it lands on the Texas coast. What do we mean by rapid intensification? Maybe getting closer to major hurricane status. Although you look at the amount of water it has left to run through, it's running out of time to get into that rapid intensification stage. So hopefully that trend continues. But bottom line, this is going to be minimum a Cat 1 hurricane by the time it makes landfall. And it looks like landfall will be early Monday near sunrise, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, probably somewhere in there based on this latest forecast. You can see the hurricane warnings in red from down near Corpus, just outside of Houston, close to Galveston. This is going to be a pretty rough hit. Yet again, storm surge, 4-6 feet, winds close to 80 miles per hour as this thing makes landfall. So this is going to be a rough hit for Texas. Now, let's keep going, shall we? Look at the track as it moves inland. This has been very consistent. It's going back to really yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, I started to notice, me and Ryan Hoke were talking about how this thing seems as though it wants to take a curve back to the north and east as it moves inland. Obviously, it'll weaken by the time it moves inland, of course, but the remnant low from what is left of Beryl could be making a beeline for wave country. Now, I don't want to say that to freak anybody out. We don't have to freak out here, okay? Not at all. But depending on where this thing goes, that could mean some pretty sizable rainfall amounts. And it's still just too early to say exactly where what's left of Beryl is going to go. And you can see that when you look at the cone. A lot of people get confused with the forecast cone. I understand it. It's tricky to understand. But here's the thing. See how wide this cone is? So it goes all the way up to Chicago and as far south as my old stomping grounds of Huntsville, Alabama. What that means is the center of Beryl is going to go anywhere in that cone, somewhere in that cone. It could go way up north towards Chicago. It could go kind of north towards Indianapolis. It can go right through wave country. It could go through Memphis and Nashville. It can stay south down towards Huntsville. So there is still a ton of uncertainty with where this thing is going to go as it moves inland. And wherever it lands, or wherever it goes, I should say, is going to decide how we get impacted here at home. So I hope that makes sense. A lot of folks kind of get confused with what the cone is really saying. But that is some significant uncertainty as far as the path of Beryl as it moves inland. But we are quite confident, very confident, in fact, that this thing is going to make landfall along the Texas coast Monday morning in all likelihood at this point. Marcia says, oh, no, it's coming to Indiana. Hope we don't get it. Praying for the ones in Texas. Yes, of course. Absolutely. But, we don't want to, no panic here. Really, the main thing we would be worried about with Beryl is rain, but a lot of it, depending on where it goes. Sometimes with decaying tropical storms or hurricanes, as they move inland, sometimes we get be worried about spinning showers, which are basically these embedded heavy rain bands that try to rotate and drop little tornadoes. I'm not seeing that at this point. It could happen. I'm not going to totally discount it, but I'm not seeing that big of a concern for severe weather at this point. More than anything else, it would just be heavy rain. So Brenda was asking about that on YouTube. Are we expecting severe weather from Beryl? I don't see it right now, but I'm not going to rule it out. So we'll watch it as things get closer. And this cone of uncertainty, it's going to shrink. So as we get better model guidance, the National Hurricane Center and us as meteorologists too will get a really good idea of where this thing is going. And once we know that exact path, then we can really nail down those impacts. But right now, I'm mainly focused on the heavy rain potential, and you'll see why here in a second. As long as we don't get another windstorm, yeah, like we did 15 years ago. That's crazy. Hurricane Ike, you guys remember that? September 14th, 2008. I was in Litchfield. I was in Grayson County that day for, I think, a family reunion. A lot of people have asked me, by the way, since I moved here, you related to the Merediths and Grayson and Edmonson County? Distantly, yes, I am. I'd have to ask folks exactly how I'm related, but I am distant related to the folks down there. So anyway, that day 15 years ago that Shonda was talking about, the day of the windstorm, we were down there. The wind was crazy. Then we get back up to Louisville and all the damage, the power's out. JCPS closed for a week. It was crazy. We are not worried about that here. Could it be a little breezy as Beryl moves through? Yes. But I do not expect the kind of windstorm that we had back in 2008. What you're looking at now looks like a bunch of scribbles. I know. But these are spaghetti models. Yes, that is what us meteorologists call them. Technical, right? These spaghetti models are a bunch of different forecast models track of where Beryl's going to go. And you notice there is decent consensus. I'd like it to be a little better, but still decent, that the center of Beryl is going to go right down the Ohio River, what's left of it, as we go into next week. So if this track were to hold, heavy rain is certainly on the table, especially if you live north of I-64. You live down to the south, you might get dry slotted with a bunch of dry air coming in on the backside of the storm, and you don't get a lot of rain. So we've got okay consensus as to where this thing's going to go. There's still a decent bit of spread, so a lot can still change. That's all I'm trying to say. So yes, that looks like a bunch of scribbles, but trust me, it does mean something. Right now, it looks like the path could be right down the Ohio River. Okay, here we go with Futurecast, something that's easier to look at, right? This is around midday Monday. You can see Beryl making landfall in Texas, near Houston, near Corpus, near Galveston, all those popular Texas coast towns. And here comes that turn. This is 7 o'clock Tuesday night. And for those of you that are asking about those softball games Tuesday night, notice here in Wave Country how a lot of us are still dry. So I don't think Tuesday's a washout at all. In fact, a lot of you may not see a drop of rain Tuesday. But as the moisture starts to stream into our neck of the woods on Tuesday ahead of Beryl, it's going to get more humid. It's going to be a little soupy, pretty soupy actually. And we could have a few scattered storms ahead of Beryl on Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. Not enough to cancel plans, not enough to cancel softball games, just enough to have the Wave Weather app handy so you can track these storms if they develop, and you get lightning alerts, heavy rain alerts, things like that. So that's the story for Tuesday. Now you see the center of what's left of Beryl Tuesday evening, at least according to the European model, which is what we're looking at, the Euro, is centered over Arkansas. I will say the Euro is significantly faster tonight compared to what it was showing this morning. The path is generally the same, up towards Ohio or the Ohio River, up towards us, but it is much, much faster compared to the earlier model runs and compared to the Hurricane Center's official forecast. So we got to watch that trend. I'm not ready to go crazy on that just yet, but If this thing speeds up, that could help limit the heavy rain threat, but it might throw our timing out of whack. Hope that makes sense. Let's keep going. This is Tuesday evening. And then by Wednesday, the worst of it's right on top of us. So your long story short tonight is it looks at this point that any impacts from Beryl here in wave country will likely be on Wednesday. And the main issue is heavy rain. All right. Now, something I've also noticed at this latest run of the Euro is it's wanting to take that more northern track. Remember, we were talking about all the model spread? Still a lot of spread as far as where we're going here. So this run of the European model wants to take the center of the low in central Indiana towards Indianapolis. Earlier today, the same model wanted to have a track right along the Ohio River. And that is going to be crucial, guys, as far as who's going to see the heaviest rain and also how much rain. We mentioned that dry slot potential, kind of see that drier air moving into southern Kentucky. If you live down near E-Town, Bardstown, Lebanon, Litchfield, you may not see much rain out of this if it keeps this general track. I think the further north you are, the better storm or the better rain chances you got on Wednesday. All right. So as we keep going on Futurecast, we mentioned the Euro is speeding this thing up like crazy. So if this faster trend holds, we're done with this by Thursday. I'm not ready to say that just yet. Like I mentioned, I'm going to keep storm chances in the forecast Thursday, even Friday, but it's becoming more clear to me tonight that Beryl's impacts, if any, in wave country will be mainly on Wednesday. So that's your big takeaway from Beryl tonight. I'll leave the Futurecast right there while I answer some comments for you. Marcia talking about some tornadoes last year in Paoli. Yeah, I remember those. It was a little rough up there last year. That is for sure. Weather Geek says we were without a power for a week with Ike. Yeah, that was crazy. It was in September. So like you mentioned, thankfully the heat wasn't too bad. Adam's chiming in from Bloomington. With Beryl being faster potentially, would it remain stronger? More wind, less rain? That's a really good question, Adam. As far as the wind threat, it's going to be breezy, okay? But I don't see it being the levels of what we saw with the big Hurricane Ike windstorm back in 2008. Nothing like that at all. I just don't see it. It will certainly be breezy. Could have some gusts, 20, 25 miles per hour minimum. And as far as the rain potential, faster movement does mean not necessarily less rain, but it means less rain, or let me take that back. It doesn't mean lower rainfall amounts. It means the rain falls in a shorter amount of time, right? So that would help to limit, actually that could cause some flooding issues. So we'll keep an eye on it. If this track holds, somebody nearby is going to see several inches of rain, but a lot could still change. Adam's also asking about drought help. Oh yeah, it'll help. Hopefully, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I hope this track kind of holds so we can get some drought help. But a lot's still going to change over the next few days. What is it? Saturday night. We've still got 4 days before this thing gets here or gets close by. So definitely a lot can still change. But as far as the wind threat, it's going to be breezy. I don't see a windstorm at all. We're going to get a lot of rain out of this no matter what. Lesser amount of time, faster storm movement, shorter amount of time with rain. But that could mean a higher flooding threat. So a lot of things are going to ebb and flow with this forecast over the next few days. Okay. So check back often for those updates. Now, here is a rainfall forecast from the European model. So the model I just showed you on Futurecast, this is what it's pegging when it comes to rainfall amounts. And you notice I mean, you could tell, guys, pretty clearly where that track is. It has a more northern track, with the worst of the rain being between Chicago and Indianapolis. But having said that, earlier today, this yellow, orange, and red rain totals was right down the Ohio River, right through Louisville. So this will continue to change. But somebody nearby could see a few inches of rain as what's left of Beryl moves in. Maybe a few scattered storms as early as Tuesday. The bulk of the rain looks like it will fall Wednesday, possibly into Thursday. So that is where things stand with Beryl tonight. And we will be here tracking all of the ebbs and flows, all the changes over the next few days. And we'll just see how it goes, guys. I mean, there's been a lot of change with this forecast in general. You know, earlier this week, we were looking at landfall in Mexico from Beryl. Now it's going to be heading towards Houston. So a lot's still going to change as we go through the next few days. Ashley's chiming in. Just got here. What is the storm threat with Beryl? Is it higher or lower? I don't see much of a storm threat right now, Ashley. Right now. But if you guys have experienced landfalling tropical cyclones before, you know that in addition to the rain and the wind, if you get these bands of heavier rain and storms, they like to spin. I call them spinning showers because a lot of times that's what they are. They don't have any lightning with them, but they like to spin. We'll watch it. I don't see that threat right now, but that could change. My main issue at this point is going to be heavy rain. Somebody nearby is going to get a few inches of rain with this. The question is who? And right now, it looks like it might be a little further north of Louisville. Earlier today, it looked like it would be right over Louisville. So that's still going to change. But Ashley, your storm threat question, low for now, could still change. Shonda says we may get a month's worth of rainfall in a couple of days. It's not out of the question. I don't think we're looking at huge flooding issues, especially if this thing is a quick mover. But if the rain just kind of lingers for a little bit, if Beryl slows down, just wants to hang out and dump buckets and buckets of rain, yeah, we could have some flooding concerns for sure. So a lot's still going to change, guys. I know I keep saying it. I don't want to sound repetitive, but this is a very fluid forecast. It has been for days, and it continues to be tonight. So I hope all that made sense. Kind of rambled a little bit too much. I always seem to. But hopefully you guys got the general idea of how this is all going to play out. Just enjoy tomorrow, right? Just go enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the less humid air. A little warm. Don't forget the sunscreen, 91, 94 on Monday. So that heat does build back in on Monday. Humidity a little bit higher on Monday too, but it'll be manageable, we'll call it. Not comfortable at all, but it'll be okay, I guess, on Monday. And then scattered storms on Tuesday ahead of Beryl. And if we see any direct impacts from what's left of Beryl, that will primarily be on Wednesday of next week. And we'll keep that chance potentially for a few storms on Thursday and Friday as well. Although I think we'll be able to drop those rain chances a little bit more for the end of the week pretty soon. You notice, by the way, the temperatures kept in check with the higher storm chances. 80s, 84 on Wednesday. That could be a stretch, especially if you see steady rain all day. So there's that. No really intense heat anytime soon. We got a few 94 showing up, especially for the week after next. But I'm not seeing any triple digits anytime soon. So we'll take that, right? We'll take whatever we can get this time of year. Oh, look, same spammer that was causing issues yesterday. We don't have time for that stuff, guys. Thank you, by the way, to everybody that was watching yesterday to call that guy out. We're not going to put up with that. Let's see. Angela, hurricanes are fascinating. You grew up on the Texas coast. Have been through a few tropical systems. Well, this is really close to home for you, isn't it, Angela? Hopefully, if you got any loved ones still down there, they're paying attention to this. Adam says, thanks. Good to see you. Yeah, good to be back. I was on vacation last weekend, so good to be back in it. Marcia says, are we still in the dry spell? Yeah, we are. The worst drought is over southern Indiana right now. It's a moderate drought, so it's not in catastrophic territory yet, thankfully. But if we do get a good bit of rain this upcoming week, that will certainly help with our drought. Shonda says, thanks. Glad to do it, guys. That's why we always hop on here on Wave Weather Now when we're not on TV. Kind of allows us to just deep dive into all the info that we can here when we don't have to be stuck to a 3 or 4 minute weathercast on TV. We're going to wrap things up. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Get outside, get some fresh air, walk the pup around the neighborhood because I forgot to do that today. Walk your pup for my pup, okay? Get outside and enjoy the sunshine tomorrow, and stay tuned to the forecast over the next few days. We'll watch Tuesday and Wednesday in particular for wherever Beryl might go. We'll be back on the TV side of things tonight at 11 on Wave News, and I'll be back here in the Wave Weather Now studios tomorrow evening doing another deep dive into Beryl and where it's going next. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Really appreciate it. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you again on TV tonight at 11 and back here on Wave Weather Now, the only 24/7 weather live stream in Louisville. We'll be back here tomorrow night. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Take care. We'll see you soon.